Previously on Aoi Shiro. I saw a dream that touched upon Yasuhime-sama's memory. This happened after I touched Tokosaki no Tsubaki. I wonder if that was the reason why I saw a dream about Yasuhime-sama. Just like what happened to Yasuhime-sama, I was left behind. According to legend, Yasuhime-sama, who was left behind, went on a long, long journey to find Kuro-sama. At journey's end. Ultimately, I hadn't heard whether or not they were able to meet with each other again. Kohaku-sen had probably gone over to that island. She should be meeting up with Migiwa, who had gone on ahead. And perhaps they would also meet Natsumi-san. Well, at least Mumko's definitely having a good time. The Shikigami that Kohaku-san summoned, Oniwaka, uses brawny arms and fingers to grab onto the rock, slowing our descent.
どちらが先に生まれたかはわからんが、牛虎の順にちなんで、お主は兄と立てようではないか。
兄？私のことを兄と呼ぶのか？
血のつながりがないならば、そうそうここまでにはせんよ。わしらは双子の兄弟だ。
ついに剣を手に入れた。海縁に住まう恵比寿の王権、イスラウーラが持ち出し奪われた海王の証、フオールの王たる和田摘のかけら、この馬老竜が奪い返したぞ。長かった。長かったとも。人間どもがここまでのさばるほど長かったさ。
老竜、貴様何をする気だ。証拠か。もう大丈夫だ。もう終わった。わしの前から逃げる必要はなくなったぞ。頼むから逃げんでくれ。
You know I was here like this right now.
Kohaku-san!
If the blood of Yasuhime-sama was even closer to the blood of the descendants of the gods.
紅白のことを大切に思っている君になら。
So that's how I could wield the sword.
それで、そんな忙しい人が何をしに来たんですか？
Did you come to hire me or something?
相変わらず察しの悪い頭をしておる。人手が足りぬと言っただろう。お主を引き抜きに来たのだよ。
Pick me up? And so it continues. Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Aoi Shiro. So, now that we got Kohaku's good ending out of the way, I'd say it's now about time that I start looking for her other endings along her route. And also get around to finding that final ending for Migiwa's route. Which I think I'm actually going to save for last instead here, because as it turns out, this missing ending of Migiwa's is actually on Kohaku's branch of the flowchart. Apparently, it's an ending that you'd only get if you tried to get to Kohaku's branch without unlocking any of her seals first. And since I never did, well, I never found it out about it that way. So, as usual, I'm going to be working my way from the bottom to top, or rather, in this case, near the top, because apparently this is the only save file along Kohaku's route that I have available to me. I could have sworn I had at least one more, but I guess I don't. So that's why I'm going to be starting here on this portion of the flowchart, working my way down and then up again. Bit of a pretty weird order to go through things, I'll admit, but I mean, hey, progress is progress, as I always say. So yeah, I'm instead of looking for Migiwa's final ending first, I think I'm gonna save that for last instead. And then, once I am absolutely positive I got all of Kohaku's and Migiwa's endings completed, all that'll end up leaving us is Nami's good end, I think, because I think she only has one more ending. And then, after that, I can start worrying about this grand route that is apparently available now. So, let's get started. Now, if my memory serves, I chose discuss this, so we're going to do morning training instead. And apparently I've already seen this scene.
Skip your
Wait and see.
余裕があるならよスキップ
Okay, I know I definitely talked to you. So this time I'm going to keep my trap shut. I was concerned about the contents of my dream, so I thought I would come to the South Forest to ask that person about it. Why do you always keep referring to her as that person? Why did I have to discuss such a personal topic with Migiwa? So I didn't answer her question. Migiwa narrowed her eyes and started to unfasten the string around the bag she was holding. What she took out of the bag wasn't a fishing pole.
じゃ悪いけどオサ
Gonna beat the information out of me? With the weapon in her hand, Migiwa came to persuade me to answer, even if it was by force. The cylindrical rod that Migiwa held, that vermilion pole, came at me in rapid-fire action. I blocked the first and second attack with Kumoichi, but the pace of Migiwa's attacks got faster and faster with each blow. This pole is probably Migiwa's weapon of choice. In the kendo match I had with Migiwa, I had won because of the special training from that person, but the reach of her weapon was good, so I was at a disadvantage here. If that were the case, then running away would be the wisest choice. In the direction where Migiwa had come from, the branches were dense, and the thick underbrush should get in the way of her pole. It was better to receive some scratches than be hit by Migiwa's pole, so I rushed into the underbrush.
残念そっちは私の間合いだ
そんなわけ
Migiwa let go of her pole with one hand and reached out. Well, this is a bit of a predicament, isn't it? Just then, pain ran across a number of points along my body, and I stopped moving. No, it's not that I stopped moving. It was that I couldn't move, so you basically stopped moving! Reflecting off a ray of sunshine filtering through the trees, countless strings glittered. You know, if this was a horror game, you'd be chopped to pieces by now. Like a spider's nest, the outstretched wires, or something, captured me.
刃にて切るのみが戦にあらずってね
No, it doesn't.
こんな準備までしてるなんてあなた一体何者よ順番は守りましょうまずは長が白番よああとりあえず部員の人には道のないところは歩かない方がいいって注意しといた方がいいかもね
Don't tell me how to do my job as captain.
長いい加減吐いちゃいなさいよ長も女の子なんだから傷まみれにはなりたくないでしょ
Anyways, this didn't look like some sort of revenge for the match this morning. Jeez, she was going this far. Exactly what kind of information did she want to hear? I hadn't done anything that would cause me to have a guilty conscience, so I thought she was behaving unreasonably, though. Oh. So I still have the option to talk, huh?
進行カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ
So if I were to choose to talk, I assume I'd loop right back here to this part of the flowchart. So, here's what I'm gonna not do. Talk! Even if she bullied me, I didn't plan on talking.
それじゃあまあ仕方ないわ
At the same time that Migiwa relaxed the restraints, I heard the sound of something vibrating. I wonder if Migiwa liked red, since she had a red pole and red clothes. Taking out a red cell phone, she checked the LCD display.
お来た来たちょうどよかった なかなか綺麗に写ってるじゃない。
So a picture must have been sent along with the mail.
オサにね、見せたいものがあったのよ。あなた、この人に見覚えない？
The picture displayed on the LCD of her red cell phone was...
夏姉さん。
I also remembered that picture. It was taken after she won the championship and was featured in a magazine. But why did Mika want to show me that picture?
それって、どういう。さーて。
Perhaps she wanted to get back at me because she kept the reason hidden and didn't explain.
じゃあ、私はここら辺で。
Okay, you made your point. I returned to Shoshinji after I got thoroughly thrashed by Migiwa. Nami, my ego has been bruised. Could you kindly pat my head or something? Make me feel better.
進行上、カーソルを合わせると章題が表示されるわよ。
Right here.
大丈夫。
Perhaps she was concerned about my disheartened look because Nami patted over and tried to pat me on the head. She heard me! She couldn't reach. I bent down and leaned towards Nami. She looked happy as she started to pat me on the head. I also ruffled Nami's fluffy hair in return. It felt nice. That somehow made me feel better. Thank you, thank you, thank you. After the meal, it was about time to go to bed. I didn't see Migiwa around. Where exactly was she at a time like this? Fishing.
あれ？右輪は？この後は若い方に任せてってどっかに行きました。時間が時間なので肝試しはパスだそうです。へえ。
That's right. Last night she had disappeared before the start of the test of courage. And first of all, the reason I met that person in South Force was because I went looking for Migiwa on the first day here. In the end, Migiwa turned out to be at the sea. Well, whatever. Migiwa wasn't a member of the team, so she was free to do as she liked. And about our team members. Momoko, who had boasted she was going to keep watch in order to discover the identity of the ghost, had already fallen asleep. Slacker. You might say this was as expected. I relieved Momoko of Kumoichi, which she had been holding for use against the ghost, and placed her into her futon. Jeez. And we're... Oh, so we're gonna be dealing with, my favorite ghost-like entity that's killed me dozens and dozens of times on Yasumi's route. It wants revenge, clearly. It's probably gonna get it, too. Because I gotta die somehow, right? By the time I noticed it, the room was filled with an unnaturally cold air. Wait a minute, why would it want revenge against me? It should be the other way around. Because I'm the one that was eaten constantly. But that was because the cold air froze me. Or because of something like paralysis. I couldn't move my body. Still, I tried to somehow move as I clenched my molars and let out a groan. And here it is. My demise. I thought I escaped this particular demise, but apparently it wanted one last shot at me. Alright, have it your way.
わかったわよ。話すわよ。最初から素直に話せばいいのに。
Well, I can't quietly talk, now can I? I wondered what type of method she had used, because with a flick of her wrist, the wires loosened, and I regained my freedom.
進行上カーソルを合わせると
I think this
正代が
time, I will say that's... I wondered. She might have saved me and given me training last night on a whim. Yokai like Tengu and Kappa would at times save a human on a whim, and other times show their frightening side with no problems.
ま、本人に会ってみればわかることだけどね。おさ、案内してくれる？わかった。
さて皆さん、たっぷり遊んで英気を養い、海の幸の補給で戦ができる体制を整えたところで、幽霊少女対策を考えたいと思います。
And let me guess, it involves swimsuits and swimming, right?
対策って言ってもね。
私、昨日はうっかり忘れてたんですよ。
何を？
この霊剣新たかな木刀があれば、幽霊少女恐るるに足らず。
Oh.
幽霊退治でもしようってこと？
Why did I think... Okay, you know what? Why did I even think that the swimsuits would factor in here?
姫先輩の次があるなら、ザワッチ狙いな予感がしますし、今日は徹夜で見張る覚悟です。
And we all know how that turns out. So Omoko's vigorous consciousness all went to her dreams. She wasn't helpful at all when it came to keeping watch. It was about time for me to meet with that person, but... As captain, my promise...
用語進行カーソルを合わせると正代が表示されるわよ。
As captain, I think that will lead me to my demise, yes. Take into account the situation. As a captain, I just couldn't.
よ進行上
look.
カーソルを
Yep,
合わ
I
せる。
guessed right. Good, good, good.
おさ、赤眼機に会いには行かないわけ？
Nah.
右は
Migu had quietly slid open the sliding door and entered. Her footsteps hadn't made a
こっ
sound.
ちの方を放っておいてはちょっとね。桃子を起こすと外に出るにも出られなくなりそうだし。
Migu nodded, indicating that was probably so.
じゃあ、私が行って見定めてくる。
Just like when she came in, she left the room without making a sound. And there officially goes my one chance at surviving this. By the time I noticed it, the room was filled with an unnaturally cold air. Whether it was because the cold air froze me, or because of something like paralysis, I couldn't move my body. Still, I tried to somehow move as I clenched my molars and let out a groan. Two shots. It wanted two final shots against me. Greedy ghost bitch. My promise. Since I also had prior engagement. However, if I took Kumoichi with me, it would be trouble if something happened here.
さて。
And I'm gonna leave the sword, and then some more of you are gonna eat me alive. That's what's gonna happen, isn't it? And for some reason, Migua will just completely fail to protect me. Maybe on a whim, for all I know, because fuck me.
おさ、赤眼機に会いには行かないわけ？右は
Migua had, quietly slid open the sliding door and entered. Her footsteps hadn't made a sound.
こっちの方を放っておいてはちょっとね。こっちはこっちで何とかしてもらいましょう。
Migua searched the bag at her waist and took out a couple bundles of paper. Not gonna work, I'm afraid. There was something like writing on those pieces of paper, but it was unfamiliar to me.
ここに霊が通り抜けるのを封じるお札があります。 これ、外から幽霊が入ってくることはない。
Then even if Momoko was sleeping.
オサ、赤眼鬼に会いに行くんでしょ？右輪も来るの？昼には会えなかったからね。こっちの要件にはもう少し時間あるし、そいつが本当に赤眼鬼なら、剣気を追い込む近道かもしれない。迷惑そうね。まあね。そうね。いきなり喧嘩を売るような態度を取るのはやめてほしいわね。それは相手次第ってところかな。
Now we all know that's bullshit, Migiwa. You'll just attack poor Kohaku just at the sight of her. Because I guess you hate red-eye cyclopses or something. Poor Cyclops. Okay, let's just skip this. So...
進行、カーソルを合わせると章題が表示されるわよ。
Okay, I'm right here. So we're gonna go call Migiwa this time.
右輪を呼んできます。
I saw that Kohaku-sen was an evenly matched battle, so I ran to get reinforcements. This was a domain that I wasn't able to deal with, but for her, an Onikiri. I forget, do you actually have your cell phone on you, or is it because you... Yeah, if you do have your cell phone at this point, wouldn't it just be easier just to call her? Oh wait, you don't have her phone number. That wouldn't work. Never mind. At the stepping stones, after I told Migiwa the situation, she had a really agitated look as she looked at the darkness behind me. She squinted her left eye and opened her blue right eye up as she saw with an eye that could see the unnatural.
オサ、来るわよ。
That moment, the hairs of my back stiffened. Was it due to her voice, or because I felt the miasma of the sword? Crunch. A hard sound came from behind me. I felt as if I knew this noise. However, compared to the noise I knew, that sound felt more irregular. That's because the sound of one's footsteps depends on one's physical condition. Migiwa had a hard look in her eyes as she twisted the vermilion pole in her hands. After a slight clicking sound, Migiwa slowly withdrew the blade hidden within. The dark shadow the person reflected in the blade was. As the sound of footsteps got closer, I slowly turned around.
姉さん。いや、もう元気。
Looks like it to me. Natsune-san held a double-edged sword, giving off an ominous air as she tottered towards the stepping stones. Kohaku-san was.
その血は返り血。
Natsune-san's black clothes were stained in various places. Underneath the moonlight, they had a reddish-purple sheen. What exactly happened to Kohaku-san?
まさか。
Then, what had been Natsune-san looked at me. Her eyes were the eyes of a Kenkei, who was no longer the person I knew, hungered for blood.
Osa!
Reflected in those eyes, Osanai Shoko was treated as a stranger. I guess we can add this add this as another death of me in the long list of deaths. I can watch! Since I couldn't move my body at all, I could do nothing but watch the scene in front of me. And finally... Natsune-san, the Kenkei, possessed by the terrifying power of the sword, sliced Kohaku-san diagonally down her body. It disappeared. Oniwaka, a large mass of power, turned into something like black fog and vanished into the night. The golden eye closed, and the power that bounded me disappeared. Now free, I wanted to run to Kohaku-san's side, but... My ears are about to get murdered. The Moryu were in the way of me and the collapsed Kohaku-san. In the dark, in place of the scattered red flowers of the Tokusaki no Tsubaki, countless brilliant red eyes glittered. Beneath that black avalanche of bodies, the collapsed Kohaku-san also disappeared, as if following Oniwaka's footsteps. I was left alone, in the midst of a crowd of Oni. Come back!
Natsune-san, 待って!
I chased after Natsune-san. However, Natsune-san was already far away. Even then, I didn't give up. And that leads to us drowning. Surprise, surprise. I had been through a tough situation, but it seems they had their own problems to deal with here. In the warm morning light, the parlor of her face looked like it was being bathed in moonlight, and did look like someone attacked by a ghost. Where am I in the flow chart?
カーソルを合わせると章題が表示されるわよ。
This is gonna lead to another bad end, I assume? A long-haired ghost girl. The Moryu also had long hair. Or perhaps a mane, but no matter what, they didn't look like young girls. Well, like how Dodongs were mistaken for mermaids. With their short stature, they might look like girls from far away at night. But Aoi Shiro had seen it from up close, and said it was transparent. If the Moryu did this, then it wasn't like we couldn't solve this by smacking them with a wooden sword, or something like that.
ところで、ナミちゃん見ませんでした？
And I take it she's been kidnapped?
ナミがどうかしたの？
朝から姿が見えなくて。翔子さんがいませんでしたから、一緒にお散歩にでも出たと思ったんですけど。
It seems that while I was with Kohaku-san, Nami had tottered off somewhere. And she still hasn't returned.
一緒じゃなかったんですか？
いや、私は。
I hadn't been Shoshinji until morning. While I remained silent, she asked if perhaps Migiwa was with Nami. However, I knew that wasn't possible. Migiwa had preceded Kohaku-san in heading to Urashima to chase after Natsune-san. I knew what the situation was, but since Migiwa didn't show up when it was time for our meal, using process of elimination, since the team members didn't do it, the idea that Migiwa kidnapped Nami floated around. Another rumor was that the long-haired ghost girl was Nami, and like what often happens in ghost stories, she vanished.
ナミを探して回ることにする。
Those circumstances were one of the big reasons why I made a deliberate move like that. I had to go search for Nami.
私もあっちの方で探してみます。私も。私たちも行ってきます。
ありがとう。
The entire team spent the full day searching for Nami. However, we didn't locate her. After the sun set, like divining the location of a lost item, I went to Tokusaki no Tsubaki to ask Kohaku-san for any tips. Kohaku-san wasn't there. Both of them had disappeared. In the end, after searching and finding nothing, a vigil wasn't going to do any good, so in a somber mood, everyone gave up. Because the weather was holding itself back for the day of the festival in Hiroshima tomorrow, we decided to leave the next day. In the end, her identity still unknown, the young girl that Yasumi found by the ocean had vanished. It was as if she had never been here from the start. And the person I met in the mountains was also. Though if I wanted to chase after her, I knew her location was Urashima. I knew that, but you can't go, right? The road I should have gone on in order to move forward was swallowed beneath the waves and under the water's surface. The light of the star of hope there drew the storm for the approaching Shinto ritual. Its light was blocked by gray clouds. However, as time moved on, in a couple of hours, when it turned to morning, when the far-off moon hid itself below the horizon and drew back the ocean in this area, the moon would sink and the sun would rise. Though right now, the darkness had not cleared up. When past the clouds, daybreak came. I felt impatient, making me restless since I had no choice but to wait. In the darkness, I closed my eyes and fervently waited for that time to come. And at some point, my consciousness went dark too. I thought about the one holding the sword, Natsuni-san, Kenkei Kaya. I thought about the Suten no Onikiri, Migiwa, who crossed over to the island first, in order to chase after Natsuni-san. I thought about Nami, who had disappeared all of a sudden. And also, I didn't know how, but I felt as if everything were connected. And I'm dead. As much as I enjoy lounging around underneath this shady tree with you, I must take my half-naked butt elsewhere. So long, Kohaku.
やっぱり帰った方がいいんでしょうか。
お主はどう考えておる？
About that.
いや、お主の中では答えは決まっておるのだろう。
でも、
ああ、お主は帰るがいい。わしのような鬼ではないし、右輪のようなそれにまつわるものでもない。帰れ帰れ。お主の面倒まで見ておっては、次はわしとて死にかねん。
I guess a person of my level would only get in the way. Even Kohaku-san, who had thoroughly thrashed me in training, received an almost mortal wound. If someone like me helped out, there was nothing I could do. Well, you're a princess, or were a princess at one point. I'm sure you could use some royal commands or something to make all the swine beneath you obey and fuck off somewhere. If only, of course, you could call upon all those memories, I'm sure. Maybe then you would also be able to learn to remember a few handy spells, like, you know, like something to that effect. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna shut up now.
わかりました。帰ります。
もう会うこともなかろうが、達者でな。
And then a storm came. Kurosama's festival was supposed to occur today. When I woke up, the storm had come to Osaka. What woke me up wasn't the light shining in from the paper screen doors, but a noise-like roar that shook the building. I was used to buildings that naturally stood defiant against the wind and rain. Shoshinji was too submissive and swayed and creaked. At first, some screamed in shrill voices half-jokingly, but at the sound of thick pillars creaking, they also became quiet. During this, Aoi-sensei worked diligently. We boarded the bus she arranged, and in the middle of the storm, left Shoshinji. Before departing from here, fighting the wind and rain, I headed for the Tokusaki to see if I could see her one last time. Since these trees are planted as a windbreak forest, once I was inside the forest, it was a little easier to proceed. The sallow flowers only lasted for a day, but today they didn't even last that long, as they were stripped by the fierce wind. Picked up and swirled around by the storm, the flowers were mixed in with the ones that had fallen from yesterday. The sallow flowers, which had lost their lives, were dancing in the middle of the storm. I went through the sallow forest and arrived at a clearing where the wind was raging noticeably. At the Tokusaki no Tsubaki.
いない。
Just like what she had said at our farewell, Kohaku-sen wasn't there. Here. I wonder if she had crossed over the ocean during the low tides last night. The tides would have receded this morning, too, but I wonder if they could be called low tides in the face of this wind and waves. As I was searching for any traces of her, I realized something. The Tsubaki flowers which had remained scattered at the base of the Tokusaki no Tsubaki until yesterday were gone. The moment those flowers, which had continued to blossom for hundreds of years, fell, they became normal flowers, scattered by the wind. Beneath the Tokusaki no Tsubaki, neither crimson flowers nor a crimson eye remained.
翔子さん、どうしました？いや、ちょっと考え事して。
Under a blue sky, we were on a train that was rocking as it followed the tracks carved into the road. The cloudy storm was far away. We were also several hundred meters away from Unisaka already. And to that person who has lived for a long time, my connection with her lasted only a couple days. So was I already forgotten? We were traveling farther away. In my lifetime, I would never forget these events, but it was already becoming more distant. The traces of her were receding farther away. I guess I could get this out of the way too. My apologies, Kohaku, but you're gonna have to get some blood and a face full of cleavage some other time.
さすがにそれは血を飲まんとわしが死ぬとしてもか？
If I could see the injury, I'd know whether it was serious or not. But if the person tried to cover it up, it'd be a problem. Yasumi was also the type of person who should take a rest, but would exhaust herself until she accomplished her goal. Could it be? Was the injury that serious?
それならそうと早く言ってくださいよ。
With her hand, Kohaku-sen stopped me from getting ready to offer my blood and chuckled.
冗談に決まっておるだろう。そんな状態なら問答無用でその首に牙を立てておる。
I suppose you could do that. Jeez. She had bad taste to make a joke using something that would cause people to worry. Kohaku-sen laughed for a while. Using a finger to wipe the tears from her eyes, she suddenly looked at me seriously. However, since her left eye remained closed, our gazes just couldn't match each other.
どうしても帰る気はないのか？
ありません。
強情な小娘だ。それならば仕方あるまい。しばし、ゆるりと眠るがいい。
Following her gentle words was a flash of golden light. That light wrapped around my consciousness, causing me to fall into an amber-filled sleep. I fell asleep in the middle of a thin film of darkness. I did not consent to this.
そのおじごスキップ進行上カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
I think we're going to fight this time. Rather than escaping with Nami, if there were only this many of them.
Yeah!
Because of Kohaku-san's special training, I was able to win a match with Mikiwa, who, no matter how careless she acted, was still an Onikiri. Against these small fry Oni which Mikiwa had defeated, I used Kumoichi, which contained the virtue of Yasuhime-sama. Holding the sword aloft as I ran, I calculated my velocity as I was rushing forward, and adjusted my steps.
Yeah!
I kicked up lots of rocks as I leapt forward. If Mikiwa could easily get rid of these Shikigami small fry, then I could also. For an instant, there was a hard impact that was probably tougher than hitting a watermelon. In the next instant, it turned into something like black fog, and melted into the red sky, leaving no traces behind. One down. Protecting Nami behind me, and facing off against the Moryu, it reminded me of the scene in my memory. I wasn't as strong as Kohaku-san, but... With absolute concentration, I swung Kumoichi around. I was calm since this wasn't my first time seeing them. Luckily, there weren't that many, and I was able to defeat all of them.
Nami? 大丈夫?
Well, I guess maybe it would have been fine if I fought them before. I am gonna go back this time.
進行上カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
It doesn't look to me like I'm going to get into... Wait, okay, yeah. On second thought, I think I will.
スキップよりも
And where did I take Nami? I recognized them. I had seen Moryu like that before. Kohaku-san had used the sword to defeat Moryu like that in order to protect Yasuhime-sama. The item was the same. It didn't mean the wielder was. If the Moryu were power that welled up to steal the sword. I didn't know how they were related, but did Nami's white skin and white hair have some connection to Kohaku-san? Then, the location that Nami would be brought would be. Though the shadow of the island looked close enough to touch, I didn't have a method of heading over there right at this moment. I had confirmed earlier that the only road leading to that place was now closed. I clenched my teeth. Even if I gritted my teeth, I wouldn't solve anything, though. If it wouldn't solve anything.
Skip.
Oh. I guess I just drowned again. Okay, you're gonna have Homaru this time.
Kohaku-san, これを。おう。
I delivered Homaru to Kohaku-san. After receiving Homaru, Kohaku-san narrowed her eyes and looked at the longsword.
鬼若、行け。
Like a judge sweeping his fan to the side to declare a winner, she swung Homaru around. This was the third time Kohaku-san summoned Oniwaka. That steel body like a castle wall pushed back and stopped Matumu's advance.
こやつは鬼若。兄とわし。牛と虎より生まれいでし。牛虎の式よ。
She smiled, indicating it was no ordinary Shikigami.
そうであろう、鬼若。
The muscles on Oniwaka's shoulders bulged. As if to live up to his master's expectations, he pushed back the much larger Matamu.
鬼若、ひねり潰せ。
Past the location where Oniwaka and Matsumu were wrestling each other. Their masters were having a duel.
老竜よ老竜よ、そんなに剣が欲しいのか。
The bright white blade of Homaru collided with the black crystalline trident, causing sparks to fly.
ああ、欲しいな。なんとしても欲しい。
とつ国より来た陰陽師、海縁に住まう恵比寿の王。そんなに我が国の宝が欲しいのか。
Fending off the endless attacks, Roryu narrowed his red right eye and gave a smile like a snake.
ああ、欲しいな。そいつが欲しい。そいつの素性を知り得たせいで、東の果ての島国組んだりまで来たんだぜ。
He glared with his red eye as he declared that that was the only reason he came here. It was the only reason he was here right now.
しかしなぜだバロウ竜。わしと兄とが策を浪して剣は常しえに失われたと、お主もそれを信じたはずだ。
あの時ばかりはそう思ったぜ。だから俺は浦島に仕掛けを作った。ところが剣が失せてから100年経たないぐらいだったか。どこかの間抜けが封じを解いて剣の力を使ったのよ。
Roryu noticed that, dug around Urashima, and once again began his search for the sword.
情けねえな、虎姫よ。お前、それに気づかなかったか？
老竜！
I wonder how long I had been so entranced by their fight that I even forgot to blink. Suddenly, I realized that the light from the gate had gone dark. And then there was the roar of the sea god.
海が閉じようとしてる。
Oh boy. The light of the gate which illuminated the area disappeared, and I could see the ocean past it.
おさ、何をぼーっと突っ立ってるの。右は
Perhaps it had been for she herself to come down, as Migo had tossed me a rope attached to the sea god's shrine in the rope bridge.
おさ、こっち上がってこい。でも
Kohaku-sen was still.
おさ、
By the time I pulled myself up to the sea god's shrine, I couldn't see the seafloor anymore. Kohaku-san, Roryu, Oniwaka, Matsumu, and the sword. I couldn't see any of them anymore. Those two really should have paid attention to the sea. Hey, Migiwa! Wanna give me a hand?
誰か琥珀さんのこと助けてよ。
My shout reached no one, as it was drowned out by the roar of the sea, which had been pushed back by invisible power. In the first place, this was forbidden territory, so Natsuni-san was cut down by Nikaya-san's blade. Nikaya-san was defeated by Roryu's halberd. Roryu was killed by Kohaku-san. On top of the gate, Migawa didn't move, whether it was because something happened in the fight or because of the miasma. Kohaku-san was suffering. With the strength of will forged from living 800 years, she continued to resist and was therefore continuing to suffer.
琥珀さん。
I held Homaru in my hand. Would it be better to put her out of her misery? What else can you do at this point? However, I couldn't do something like that. There was no proof that she might not be able to recover from this, so that would be too rash a decision. However, I also didn't have time to ponder about this for too long. In these conditions, it didn't mean I was going to get a divine revelation. In place of that, what came down from the heavens was...
おさ、何をぼーっと突っ立ってるの。
What shook me out of my thoughts was the sound of Migawa's voice. Thank goodness. She was okay.
琥珀さん、自分の前から逃げろって言ってたでしょ。
Even still, I was confused about what to do.
とりあえずこっち上がってこい。ワイヤーが。
Migawa forcefully pulled me up. She then turned around and faced away from me.
右はちょっと吐きそう。いや、これは吐く。
Migiwa's forehead had lost its color and was dotted with sweat. Some time passed. Exactly what had happened down below. The light of the gate suddenly extinguished.
海が閉じる。終わった。ひとまず助かった。
Unless Kohaku decides to just jump right out from the seafloor and come attack us, right? And then, the sea closed. The area around the sea god shrine, where Migia and I were, had returned to being an ocean. Over there, the sword which gave off miasma and Kohaku-san had both disappeared. Okay, I guess we'll be alright. So we pretty much bombed out Kohaku's part of the flowchart now, from the looks of things. So now all that's left to do is fill the rest of it, starting from this branch here, from the looks of things. Just want to make doubly sure I'm not missing anything. So yeah, to fill this part of the portion of the flowchart from this point all the way up here. But instead of starting from the bottom, I'm going to work my way down. So we are going to go back this time. I thought it was about time to turn back. If I wasn't going to meet that person, then there was no meaning to being here. The moment I decided to turn back was the moment I heard the sound of footsteps. Migiwa? Or Momoko? It wasn't the sound of the wind rustling the leaves, but definitely the sound of someone walking through the underbrush. Did my heart rapidly beat in my chest due to suddenly hearing that noise? Or was it for some other reason? Could it be? Could it be? That person. I started running towards that sound. It's probably Momoko. Yep!
おや、オサ先輩。
In the middle of the forest, I met Momoko.
桃子、そんな荷物抱えて何やってるの？
夏合宿の恒例行事と言いますと、夜の肝試しかと思いましてね。
まあ、去年も旧校舎でやったけど。
あそこ雰囲気ありますもんね。
It did have an appropriate atmosphere, but because of the senpai's traps, I think the test of courage turned out rather harsh.
ですけど今年も負けてませんよ。お寺なんて絶好のロケーションはそうそうありませんし。
まあね。
It wasn't very popular, and it also had a graveyard. I had also walked here alone last night, but people who were easily frightened might not be able to bear that. Well, it would be a good thing for the team if the members voluntarily decided to plan things. As the new captain who only took over starting from the training camp and hadn't planned anything, I should have been grateful. But to just leave her to do as she liked.
それで、桃子はその荷物で何するつもりなの？
仕掛けというか、罠を作ります。
罠？
暗い夜道を歩いてて草に足を取られたり落とし穴に落ちたりすると驚きません？
それは驚くだろうけど。
It seems she didn't want to lose against the senpai from last year and was playing something crafty and no holds barred.
田舎のじいちゃんが詳しいんですよ。あとさっきまでミギーさんが手伝ってくれてまして。
I have the option of helping you out?
用具辞典よ。
Well, I can't leave you be, so... Anyways, it doesn't seem like she wanted to do anything above scaring people, but I should check to make sure.
それって安全面は大丈夫なんでしょうね。例えば転ばせるような罠の時、周りに石とか枝とか怪我するようなものはないかとか。例えば落とし穴に落ちた時、足首くじくような深さじゃないかとか。
Going by her face, I'd say no, she didn't think that far.
例えば
I counted on my fingers the number of dangers I could think of.
どうやら考えてなかったようね。
はい。
She replied in a dejected tone. I felt a little sorry for her, but the safety of everyone came first.
危険な仕掛けは撤去しなさい。
せっかく作ったのに。
Poor Momoko.
休みとか引っかかったら危ないわよ。
そこを撤去します。
She really was a person who looked after her own self-interests. When I returned to Shoshinji, Yasumi had already returned and was relaxing with Aoi Shiro and the others in the room. Oh wait, can I skip this? Yep, looks like it. See, we're doing ghost stories again.
スキップよ。進行状態の把握はカーソルを合わせると章題が表示されるわよ。
Oh yeah, I could also make different choices here at this portion, couldn't I? So, let's pick this. I mean there. I decided to pick the one over there. I drew on the paper strings gripped in Momoko's hand.
さて、
I unwound the twisted piece of paper and confirmed the number written on one end. We'd go in order and pair up with the person who had the same number.
ボサ先輩と
Oh, we get to go with you. She looked from behind my shoulder at what I was holding and let out a high-pitched exclamation. I heard no joy in her voice. None at all. Oh, fuck you. I'm plenty fun to be around. Well, if it were Momoko, I think she would have wanted to be grouped with Yasumi, but Momoko had picked her lot first, so it shouldn't be related to my luck at picking lots. Probably.
ももこも参加するわけ？
もちろんしますよ。
普通仕掛け作った人って自分じゃ参加しないものでしょ？
Last year, Usanai Senpai, who laid the traps, had been running around taking pictures of the scared faces of the students.
だったら仕掛けなんて作りませんよ。
Sure you won't. It seems she didn't plan on being an entertainer, and if there weren't any traps, she'd be the self-sufficient type to make some. Goodness, she really was a kid with a stout heart. And the traps that Momoko had made were rather effective. After all, the person who laid the traps was herself this surprised. How though?
なんて声出してるのよ。
だってほら、分かってても怖いものは怖いじゃないですか。
As for me, I was more scared of Momoko's scream. Perhaps she was doing it on purpose?
いや、怖いというより驚いた。そう、びっくりマシン的な感性です、今のは。
Okay. It seems she really was scared. I mean, she really was surprised.
あ、そう。
If she could enjoy something she was this involved in setting up, she must surely feel the world is a fun place, is what I thought. You're such a joy, Momoko. Don't ever change. And then, I was surrounded. By themselves, they weren't that strong, but
なんでこんなキリがない。
I couldn't do anything about them relying on their numbers. You could say I was being assaulted on all sides, or that I'm being overwhelmed by superior numbers. They didn't seem to have much in the way of teamwork. That helped me, but
もう腕に力が。こんな
The wind sword flew from my arm, which had lost its gripping power. My poor eardrums. They're being violated without my consent. If I could at least reach the Tokusaki no Tsubaki. If I could arrive at the Tokusaki no Tsubaki. Too late. However, there was no hope for me even though I reached there. The red flowers rustled as they fell down. My red blood dripped as it fell down. I could no longer. The Tokusaki no Tsubaki scattered. My life force scattered. You're on your own now. I believe in you. You can do it.
いいけどね。
I would be sure to pay the utmost attention when the time came. Jeez. Since it was this noisy, I didn't think I would be able to meet that person. As I parted from Momoko in order to go back, my leg caught on something. It seemed to be the type of trap with a noisemaker attached to one end and would make a sound when tripped.
ああ、オサ先輩が仕掛けを。
Well, that's just my luck, isn't it? I had immediately been caught by one.
まったく、肝試しは夜からですよ。
It would definitely cause one's heart to pound if it were tripped at night in the middle of a dark forest. Jeez, it really was going to be noisy. And we shall... skip.
よりも
We are now gonna pick this. I decided to pick the one over there. I drew one of the paper strings gripped in Momoko's hand.
さて、
I unwound the twisted piece of paper and confirmed the number written on one end. We'd go in order and pair up with the person who had the same number. Basically, whether it came to drawing lots or anything else, I had the worst luck.
あら、先生と
I get to go with Teach!
参加してたんですか？
仲間外れは嫌ですもの。
I didn't know whether to think of this as good luck or as bad luck. Good luck, obviously! I wasn't against teaming up with Sensei, but from the ghost story prologue, I could guess how things were going to turn out. On the way, Sensei would definitely...
そういえば殺牛祭神なんだけどね。
はい。
菅原道真が雷神として祀られる前の北の天神でもね、器具や怨霊に対する殺牛の祭りがあったのよ。
At least you're having a good time.
はい。
スペインの闘牛なんかにもそういう儀式の。
She could talk until she dropped to her heart's content, so it didn't really feel like a test of courage.
そういうわけで。え？
Nice ghosts. Because she was so absorbed with talking, she didn't even notice the traps that Momoko had put all our energy into preparing. Poor Momoko. Even then, Sensei seemed to be enjoying herself, so I guess it was fine. And now surrounded, I'm dead, right? Yep. Looks like I basically cut right through here. Even if I stayed here, I wouldn't meet the Tsubaki spirit. There is no deeper place in the forest. I could go deeper, but there would be nothing but sal trees. I decided to leave. on the road back to Shoshinji. As I was pondering about the Tsubaki spirit and absent-mindedly walking, my leg had caught on something. Trap! A loud noise emanated from the nearby thickets. It seemed to be the type of trap with a noisemaker attached to one end, and would make a sound when tripped. I was surprised.
なんでこんなものが?
When I pulled the string on my leg, a noisemaker rattled in the nearby thickets. Responding to the sound of the noisemaker, someone came to greet me.
ああ、オサ先輩が仕掛けを!
It was one of Momoko's traps.
まったく、肝試しは夜からですよ。そんな予定あったっけ? 予定がないからねじ込むわけです。
It's kind of pointless to... I think it's kind of, a dumb idea to prepare for something you haven't requested yet. Just on the off chance I say no. Just saying, Momoko. It seemed there was going to be a test of courage tonight. And we're going to skip again. Pick that.
Skip.
Oh. I guess I die again. We're going back again. See where this leads us.
Skip. Skip.
I shall politely decline. I wanted to pass on the offer, but she also saved my life. So I was hesitant on how to decline without offending her.
ならば、夜に出歩くのはやめておくのだな。
The Tsubaki spirit gave me that warning and turned her back to me.
あの式、不殺生の縛りをかけられておらんぞ。
Oh, that's
先
it?
輩、探し物は? 忘れた。
It hadn't been the time for that.
何やってたんですか? 怖くて泣いて震えてました?
You're one to talk. She wasn't too far off, but there's no way I could tell her that.
見た目の年が。
スキップ。よ、進行上。カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
I guess maybe I could just try going down the chart some more.
そうだ。スキップ。
Gonna wait and see again.
余裕が。スキップ。
Oh, something new.
進行。カーソルを合わせると、
Now was the time.
ねー!
I considered the distance and timing and launched an admirable frontal attack.
はっと。
She slid around and dodged. Miga struck my forearm, causing it to go numb. The numbness turned to heat. When the heat turned to pain, it made me drop the bamboo sword to the pavement with a dry smack.
ま、素人にしちゃ上出来ね。
Migiwa, who was a novice in kendo, treated me like a novice. Even if Migiwa was only a beginner in kendo, she was strong. If it were Migiwa, I wonder if she would be able to defeat those Moryu from last night. Your poor ego. It's been bruised.
スキップ。
I was concerned about the contents of my dream, so I thought I would come to the South Forest to ask that person about it.
進行上。カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
Okay, looks like I pretty much got this bottomed out.
進行上。カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
Well, how about that? Looks to me like I've just about finished Kohaku's portion of the chart. Sweet. Why did I have to discuss such a personal topic with Miwa? So I didn't answer her question. Miwa narrowed her eyes and started to unfasten the string around the bag she was holding. What she took out of the bag wasn't a fishing pole.
じゃ、悪いけどオサ。
We have to go through this shit again. Really? Come on. We all know that without Kohaku's special training, I am definitely your inferior. With the weapon in her hand, Migiwa came to persuade me to answer, even if it was by force. The cylindrical rod that Migiwa held, that vermilion pole, came at me in rapid-fire action. I blocked the first and second attack with Kumoichi, but the pace of Migiwa's attacks got faster and faster with each blow. This pole was probably Migiwa's weapon of choice. Even we had a duel using my field of expertise, the Kendo Shinai. I couldn't win, so there was nothing I could do about this. As Kumoichi received those blows, it pushed my arms in the wrong direction, bore down into the very bones of my palm. Miwa sped up her attacks. The second blow was faster than the first. The third was faster than the second. Miwa didn't seem to be getting out of breath, and of course I didn't see any chance to counterattack. It wasn't that I couldn't land an effective blow. I couldn't even graze Migiwa for Kumoichi as I swung it around. If that were the case, then running away would be the wisest choice. In the direction Migiwa had come from, the branches were dense, and the thick underbrush should get in the way of her pole. It was better to receive some scratches than be hit by Migiwa's pole, so I rushed into the underbrush.
残念。そっちは私の間合いだ。そんなわけ。
Migiwa let go of her pole with one hand and reached out. Just then, pain ran across a number of points along my body, and I stopped moving. No, it's not that I stopped moving, it was that I couldn't move. Reflecting off a ray of sunshine filtering through the trees, countless strings glittered. Like a spider's nest, the outstretched wires or something captured me.
刃にて切るのみが戦にあらずってね。こんな準備までしてるなんて、あなた一体何者よ。順番は守りましょう。まずは長が白番よ。ああ、とりあえず部員の人には道のないところは歩かない方がいいって注意しといた方がいいかもね。長、いい加減吐いちゃいなさいよ。長も女の子なんだから傷まみれにはなりたくないでしょ。
How could I just say yes, of course, when I was suddenly thrust into a situation like this? Now that I think about it, Migiwa had also pushed to have a duel in the morning. What was the meaning of that? You know, I can't help but wonder, is this the final Migiwa ending that I have yet to find? Though my abilities weren't a match for her, to submit to brute force like this was... Well, let's see how, honestly.
進行
I think we've already
カーソ
passed
ルを合わ
that
せると
point.
章台が表示されるわよ。
I think we've long since passed that point. Well, might as well see where this leads us. Our demise. Third time's the charm for you. Oh. Looks like I finally found something.
進行状態の把握はカーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
Looks like it. So, since I ended up going through Kohaku's branch a lot faster than I thought I would, I thought that perhaps I could throw in something extra for you guys. Namely, Nami's final good ending. So I can't help but wonder now, what exactly am I in for? For a moment, I felt as if I saw a lapis lazuli light flickering deep within the
気
forest.
のせいかしらね。
Just imagine it. Nami didn't confirm or deny it. She just kept staring up at me. Her lovely eyebrows lowered as she frowned. Oh no, what's wrong?
ごめん、ナミ。
Without realizing it, I gripped down hard on her hand. Oh. Flustered, I let go and started to sweat.
本当にごめんね。私、さっきからぼーっとしてたし。
After Nami stared at me for a while, she reached out her hand as if saying it was okay.
ありがとう。
Nami gave a small smile after I thanked her. And two of us once again held hands as we walked through the forest. Okay, let me just skip.
スキップよ。
Alright, what did I do here before? I think I just... Let me look at the
進行
flow
上
chart.
カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
I'm not careful, I could get myself killed. Try escaping.
逃げ
Now's our chance. Let's just go.
スキップよ。
Gotta go to the island.
何？スキップよ。
We are gonna hang up the phone because I remember that saving battery power was kind of a beneficial thing for us on some of the
スキ
endings.
ップよりも早いわよ。
I think I should ask you this time if I also remember correctly.
スキップよりも
Might as well mention Yasuhime-sama.
スキップよ。
Gotta stop the ritual.
儀式を止めよ。スキップよ。進行状態。カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
I thought that there wasn't a third option here, but it looks like there is now. Interesting. But wait a minute.
進行状態。カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
Her good end has to be down here, so... Is this the path to
進
the
行
grand route?
カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
Well, I'll have to definitely make a mental note of this. So, we're not giving you up.
何を渡せるはず。
Wait a minute. I didn't just choose the wrong one,
4
did I?
進行状態の把握は大事。
Okay, if memory serves, I gotta run away for now. Okay, yeah. I've seen that
進
before,
行状態の把握。カーソルを合わせ。
Natsuni.
夏姉さん。スキップ。
Okay. Gotta stop the ritual.
わかってる。スキップよ。
Oh, I guess that was a mistake? Oh yeah, now I remember. Stopping the ritual just ended badly for me last time I did that, so I think it was this one I was meant to choose.
本当はスキップ。
行状態。カーソルを合わせると
Matemu
正代が表示。
ended badly, so Nami's body. That's not it either? Maybe I'm supposed to choose this?
ナミを渡せるはずがない。
Huh. Same time that the blood rushed to my head, it brought to mind that blood-stained memory. Okay, this was the
進
right
行
one,
状態。
yeah.
カーソルを合わせる。
Okay. He, Nikata Minutsugu, was the one who cut down Natsuni-san, and the one who sacrificed me. As I sank down into the ocean, I was saved by Yasuhime-sama. Because I received the life of Yasuhime-sama, I had the responsibility to fulfill her long-felt wish. You know, now that I'm looking at her face again, I'm kind of shocked I didn't see the similar facial structure that she has to Shioko. Should have been obvious right from the freaking beginning to me who she was, in a sense. What the hell is wrong with me? I had been completely convinced that, like a different personality, Yasuhime-sama had resided in Name from the very start. I'd really thought that Yasuhime-sama and Nami were a single entity. But if Nami was Tsunami-chan and was a different person altogether from the very beginning, why was Yasuhime-sama and Nami? And here... Okay, let's just try this out.
夏姉さん、まさか。
Gotta get it away from here.
一緒に逃げて。スキップ。
Skip. Now will you work?
スキップ。
Oh. Oh.
進行状態。カーソルを合わせると
Yep.
正代が表。
We got something. I held up Nami's limp body and placed my cheek near her petite face. Nami's chest had been pierced by Roryu, and she had lost a lot of blood. Her body temperature felt much colder than normal, as if she were just a beautiful doll. No. The one I liked wasn't this lifeless shell that had the shape of Nami. It was a living Nami who called my name, whose beautiful eyes reflected my form, and who reached out her small hands towards me. That's why I...
何の
I would give her part of the life contained within me.
私の安姫様の血、これはあなたの玉のための血よ。
Her lips, which I pressed against my skin, felt cold. That's why against those lips, I pressed something that welled up from deep within me, which was warmer than my skin and lips. I painted Nami's pale lips with moist glistening red. Nami's lips, which had just been still as the liquid poured over them, started to move. Like a newborn child sucking admirably at a breast, a tiny flame within Nami that tried to live wouldn't go out. That's why, to prevent a cold breeze from extinguishing that light, I hugged her close to me to provide shelter from the wind.
その調子だから元気になって。翔子ちゃん。
Nami's lips left my neck. The cold and moist air that filled the underground sanctuary made my neck prickle. Nami's body was now once again warmer than that air.
ナミ。翔子ちゃん、もう大丈夫。
Hell yeah.
私の体は琥珀さんと同じ。あのバロウ竜に作り変えられた
鬼の体だから。
And as we looked at the miasma that continued to fill the air, Matamu achieved a solid form. That was the crystallization of despair. However, my hope was securely fastened right here. Nami was close by, where my hand could reach her. Her existence slowly gave me warmth and a sunny spot amidst all this. Deep within her eyes, which acted like sunshine warming my heart, I could see the flowing strength of her vitality. In order for this light of hope to not go out, we had to do something. We had to something about that over there.
もういける？はい、いけます。
We held on to the sword. This was not a sword, but something else that just held the shape of a sword. This was a linchpin. Fear like a linchpin. It was a linchpin that made my legs quiver and rooted me in place. It was a linchpin that sharply and deeply pierced me, ripping me in two. If that were the case, then we would try to subjugate it. If that were the case, then we would try to use even that to our advantage. We put a toehold into the fear and challenged this cliff of despair, in order to be able to at some point reach the top and celebrate the light of hope. Even if this was something that one could not overcome alone.
Nami!
As I called out Nami's name, I grabbed the hilt of the sword.
翔子ちゃん。
As Nami called my name, she grabbed the hilt of the sword. Even if it was impossible by myself, together with my precious person, the two of us would surely. We placed our hands on the sword, which was stained in black. It held stronger power than Matamu, as I placed my hand on the ominous black sword. The sword vibrated, as if it were some living being with a will of its own. Was the numbness due to the minute shaking of my hand? Or was there some other poison that was eating away at me? The black waves, they were penetrating to the deepest part of me. The heart and soul, which didn't have a definitive shape like the body, was being tossed around by those waves. I was sinking to the soft black mud that churned and disarranged the original form that I held, dismantling it to pieces.
翔子ちゃん。
A voice like a bright light shot through a gap in the dark clouds and saved me. That was the voice of Nami.
大丈夫。
I was okay. I should be okay now. I wouldn't be engulfed by the sword anymore. Even if darkness covers up the path, as long as I could see the star of hope, I would know what the right direction was. Even if the storm of the sword summoned high waves to toss me about, if I could grab onto something certain, I could remain me. That's why I was okay now.
安姫様が封印したマタムはもうこの島には封印しない。剣から生まれたマタムはこの剣の中に封印する。
We would take Matamu to where it had originated. We would return Matamu to where it had come from. The black sword swallowed up the black miasma. Matamu lost its shape as it returned to being miasma and disappeared within the sword.
何？またも食らうだと？
お主らいくら二人がかりとはいえ。
大丈夫。私たちは。
Even for the two of us, we would definitely be able to accomplish this. And then... Matamu had already lost the shape of an ox as it struggled, using the last bits of its power. After the linchpin fixing it in place was removed, the remaining power was a disorderly jumble that raged about. It was a quivering, trembling piece of chaos. The vibrations caused the underground sanctuary to shake. These were the last moments of Matamu. Though unstable, they gave a fearsome roar. If one didn't have tolerance to the sword, just hearing that might cause damage. However, Nami and I knew that these were its final moments. That scream seemed loud enough to cross the Unosaka Sea and reach even Shoshinji as part of the roar of the island. Using up the last of its power, Matamu's form vanished, and the last remnants of it disappeared into the sword. Kohaku-sen looked up at the ceiling.
翔子、ナミ、崩れるぞ。わしはこちらから行く。お主らも早く。
Oh dear. Kohaku-san disappeared down a corridor. The darkness swallowed up her figure. At the location where she headed, a boulder fell and plugged up the corridor, blocking our view of Kohaku-san. Well, I guess we have to go the other way. If the place had been reinforced with beams or planks, it might have been able to last a bit longer, but this Nakata sanctuary had been built around 800 years ago and was in quite a state of deterioration. But more importantly, the corridor was now blocked. We were trapped inside. Was waiting for everything to collapse the only thing we could do? No.
翔子ちゃん、あの水路。
Nami pointed to the waterway.
あの水路は。
Huh. In the past, I had used the waterway before. I recalled the memory of Yasuhime-sama. If we entered the waterway,
翔子ちゃん、
Nami and I held hands and jumped into the waterway. The cold water brushed against our skin. Nami and I pressed against each other. Ah, new song. The long night was about to end.
朝が。
A new day was beginning.
翔子ちゃん、眩しい。
そうね。そして。
The light of the sun shone down on us, swaying among the endless waves. We both nodded.
行こう。私たちの帰る場所へ。
Ha ha ha! I finally got her ending, too. That's everybody then, yeah? Guess all it leaves now is the grand route. turning. Turning. The world keeps turning. Nowadays we had planes, but in the past it would always have been a difficult task to circle the globe even once. Thinking like that, in just 24 hours, the world revolves once. You don't really feel it, but I think it's quite a big feat. Rotating, rotating. The seasons rotate. In just 365 days, the Earth rotates around the Sun once. Exactly how fast do we move in this boundless world? And also, the summer that felt both long and short had ended long ago. Though something like that happened, I had only stayed for a couple days in Unusaka. Like 8 years ago, I returned home alone. What happened to Nami? That summer, I had met Nami in the ocean of Unusaka. That summer, we had parted from Nami on the road leading from Unusaka. And then, winter, which caused the exhaled sighs to turn white, had come. The winter which I had impatiently waited for, had come. Following summer vacation, the next long vacation was winter, which finally started today.
寒いけど、雪にはならなかったわね。
The Christmas displays in the showcase were in all likelihood decorated in green, red, and white. Green was a brightly decorated Christmas tree. Since the fir was part of the pine family, it would stay green even past winter. Red was the flames of a fireplace and Santa Claus. The clothes of the one who gave children presents was a colorful red. And white. Since Santa Claus was old, his beard and eyebrows were white. Part of his clothes too, but when thinking of white, one thinks of a white Christmas. It didn't snow much here in the first place. Normally, it might snow occasionally after New Year's, but one wouldn't wait for it. But still, since this year was special, I would like it to snow if possible. Because this winter vacation was...
今度はナミの方から来るって言ってたけど。
Oh? Nami was going to come visit from a place where it would be even harder to find snow. After summer, Nami had remained in Unusaka. Since we were both still minors, we couldn't make a living together, and there was no legal way for us to do so either. After what had happened, we didn't know whether the others would believe us or not, but we related what had occurred. Nami was the same age as Yasumi and Momoko, and was really Nakata Tsunami. Her only relative, Nakata Minutsugu, had passed away. And through some method, Nami was now Suzaki Tsunami, and was able to obtain a life where she could peacefully live her days. According to the family register, Nami was past the age of compulsory education, so there was no need to wait for winter, but...
一人で大丈夫かしら?
Today, Nami is going to come visit me. Aw, look at her outfit! Because of some accident, the train schedule was off, so I was impatiently waiting for the slightly tardy train to arrive. And then, Nami
翔子ちゃん
caught sight of me.
ナミ
She had too white to be Japanese skin and wavy white hair, which was slightly trimmed to be more convenient, but still long. Someone, most likely the monk, had prepared a cute, pure red coat for her, which was fluttering as she approached. She held onto a gift bag, but she herself was the present. The tiny Santa Claus headed right for me as I embraced her.
翔子ちゃん会いたかったです
Starting now, our winter vacation, the first winter that Nami and I would spend together, began. Grand Route Seal 2 has been unlocked.
環境設定を保存。青い
Yeah, I
城。
wanna... You know, I wanna see. Okay, this is the flowchart, yes?
どの用語
No, that's the encyclopedia.
青い城。カーソルを合わせると
Here we are.
章題が表示されるわよ。
Where is it? Here? It's gotta be there. Because I don't... Wait a minute. Oh wait, I thought that was just 2 open branches there for a second. Oh wait, no. So there's that, which leads down there. Wait, I think so. There's this thing right here. So it's here. Then what's the deal with this right here? Interesting. Guess it's something I'll have to also investigate next time.
青い城。どの結末を見たいわけ？
Now look what we have here. A nearly full ending list. And sure enough, it looks like I also got Migawa's ending too. 5 left, and we're done. Holy crap, 5 left and we're done. We really are almost done with this, aren't we? Feels like it's been forever ago, and yet only yesterday I only started this Let's Play. Certainly has been the longest single series I've done, unless you count all the chapters of Higurashi when they cry as an ongoing series split up into multiple parts, which I personally do, so I guess technically this would make Aoi Shiro at this point my second longest running Let's Play at this point. Either way, still impressive. So all we have left now, I guess, is just the grand route, and these 5 remaining endings. We're almost there, guys. I do wonder, though, how the whole thing is exactly going to end. Like, will it just end like where everybody basically gets to have a happy ending with Shioko? And I mean everybody. Yasumi, Nami, Kaya, Migiwa, Kohaku. It's probably gonna be something like that, I'm willing to bet. Well, I think we can start working our way towards figuring out how exactly we're gonna get there in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of Aoi Shiro. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time, and take care.